XXFM.
This is Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.
Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth, welcoming some first-timers to the program this morning. Representing the United Negro College Fund, Gates Millennium, it is Mr. Kelvin Harris, who's the director and leadership development the director of the leadership development programs. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. And
you have brought with you the lovely Joakina Stone, who is the relations manager. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you guys for coming on the program. This past week with spring break, you guys were doing some incredible things in the city throughout the week. Let's talk about that for a minute. Something to help victims from Hurricane Harvey?
Yes, absolutely. So we started our week doing an immersion tour just to get familiar with the city. And then we engaged in some hurricane relief packages with Texas Christian Center.
Mm-hmm.
The Mission Center out in Conroe, is it Conroe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Conroe.
up there in Conroe.
So from there, we just kicked off. We had students working on homes, I think in the 5th Ward.
Okay.
Making repairs to homes that were damaged by Harvey, repainting, caulking, re-siding, really refurbishing some of these homes that were damaged. And then the food bank, spent some time at the food bank as well, making sure that citizens have the food that they need from the food bank, and they get to their homes. So packaging up things to be sent out to the community to be taken care of and eaten.
That's dope. I mean, that's nice. I mean, the outpour of love that Houston has received ever since Hurricane Harvey happened has been just tremendous. I mean, where are you all from?
So we're in Washington, D.C., but I'm a native of New Haven, Connecticut.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I live in D.C. as well, but I'm from Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was it that made you guys want to come to Houston?
Well, we did alternative spring break last year in Houston. And before, when we did it, we were, working on different things to help prepare residents for floods, because some of our service agencies said that, floods are a thing in Houston. So
Yeah.
we were working on some of that. But then after Hurricane Harvey, we had a discussion like we really need to go back to Houston and continue to do some of that work to positively impact those communities, because it was cool when we did it before, but it's like we didn't know why we were doing it. And so to be able to come back and have an even greater impact and assist some of the folks who have been, impacted by the hurricane was important to us.
When it was going down, I'm sure like everybody else across the country, including myself, because I wasn't even here that weekend. I had flew home. I'm from Ohio. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. I had flew home for the fight party that my brothers were throwing. When you all were watching the devastation on television, what was going through your heads?
It was kind of crazy. Like, I was thinking about a lot. I was in shock. We had just come here. We learned about the different flooding zones. So I thought about some of the communities that we had worked with in the past. I reached out to like some of our service partners, like, are y'all okay? And then I thought about, folks who were impacted by Hurricane Katrina. I know most of them moved to Houston.
Right.
So I'm like, dang, are they being impacted twice? Like, it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
And so it just put a lot of things in perspective on why we do the work that we do. And just leaving Houston and have that happen was like, wow.
Yeah.
We just went in there and, prepare for this, but it actually happened at a greater level.
Yeah.
What can we do? And so we had that conversation on coming back. But, I lived in Florida during Wilma and Katrina, and I remember that devastation. And then I see this on TV, and it made me think back to New Orleans and what happened and how we can have a greater impact as a community to come together. So we decided to come back and pick up where we left off, but come back stronger because it was definitely needed.
Indeed, we appreciate that. Joakina, to your point, I was watching CNN one time, and they were at George R. Brown, and there was a young lady who had moved to Houston from Katrina, and so she was saying like, "Wow, this is the second natural disaster. I lived through Katrina with that devastation, and now here going through with Harvey." And she said, "I really think that I am going to need some psychological or psychiatric help because my mental is messed up. This is my second time." And I was like, good for you for being self-aware to know that you later on down the line are going to need some mental health help.
Right, right.
And I thought that was just golden to me. You're listening to Access Houston. We're talking to Kelvin and Joakina from the United Negro College Fund, Gates Millennium, talking about alternative spring break week. And then you guys got a lot of stuff going on. Of course, United Negro College Fund known for giving out scholarships. Of course, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. What's next?
So, next month we have a Leadership Academy. We bring our student leaders from our Gates Millennium Scholarship Program together to strengthen and hone on their leadership skills. And then we also start planning for our next alternative spring break. It takes a long time to get planning, but we're always into something. We have another conference with another scholarship program that's taking place a week before our leadership conference with our students. And so at UNCF, we all kind of pitch in and help out with different endeavors. But we, really trying to get our students to the finish line right now at the end of the semester. Stress is high. And so making sure that they have the tools to be successful to finish strong in the academic year.
Indeed. So walk us through what you all do when you come up with alternative spring break, the planning that goes into it. Like what? Take me through the experience for someone who hasn't had the opportunity yet to experience what you all do.
Yeah, so we usually sit down as a team and we throw out cities that we think would be good places for us to go to. We narrow it down to like 3. Kelvin and our VP, they review it, they pick the top one. Then we start connecting with different service agencies that are in those cities. So we try to reach out to them via email, phone, which can be a challenge because we're located in DC, so we're depending on like the folks in the city on the ground to give us information. And so we start reaching out to some of those service agencies. We confirm them, and then we have to do an application process. So there's this year we had probably like over 150 students who applied, and we only take 60. But this year we brought 100. From different UNCF scholarship organizations and Gates Millennium Scholars. So
sounds like the process of elimination is fierce.
Yes. So you're picking from the top of the top, but you're trying to pick the top of the top.
Right.
It's tough because they want to do service.
Yeah.
We gotta tell you no to volunteer.
Right.
That kind of is no fun. But we do that. And then we get here and we hit the ground running. We get to meet. We come here a couple days earlier than the students. We meet some of the service site agencies, and then we just go from there. Yeah. So it's a lot of logistical planning because we fly the students in from wherever they are. Typically, we have them all. Like this year, we focused on students who attended schools in the eastern corridor of the country.
Okay.
And so in the previous year, and we switch every year. So after they apply and we accept them, getting their flights booked. Make sure we have space at the hotel, meals for the week because we have to feed them. Transportation to and from all the different sites that we're going to throughout the week. So a lot of logistics in place, but once we get here, it's showtime. It's great. Come Friday, folks are tired.
Yes, indeed.
Half of them will probably, have a little cough, but they go home, energized. They're physically tired, but they're mentally energized because they felt like they've done something great for someone else.
That's awesome. You listen to Access Houston talking to Kelvin Harris and Joakina. Is it Store or Stone?
It's Stone. It's
okay,
Stone.
There we go. That's an N. Thanks, Latoria. That's an N.
You said Store earlier, and I was like, I'm not going to correct him.
Because the N did look like an R, but that's Latoria. I got nothing but love for you. Thank you, baby. You're listening to Access Houston talking to Kelvin Harris and Joakina Stone of the United Negro College Fund. So, with this current administration, he was.
Here we go.
That's hilarious. He was touting about how they were going to help HBCUs and whatever the mess. I try not to pay too much attention to that clown.
Right.
But whatever he promised to historical black colleges and universities, he nor Betsy DeVos has done anything. And so now that we're seeing that HBCUs are losing money, it's crazy. I was living in Georgia throughout the whole Morris Brown ordeal, debacle, if you will. Yeah. And I was just like, how? Yeah. I'm thinking to myself, how, Sway? Right. How? Yeah. It's crazy. So you all have a campaign of how to support HBCUs because we're going to be the ones that's going to keep them up and going because clearly the federal government is not interested. They just want to talk the talk. How can people support HBCUs?
Yeah. So, it's one thing you give with your treasures. So you're able to give financially whether it's individually, whether it's your church or your faith, through one of your centers. But you can also give with your time. We have regional offices all throughout the country in major cities. They're all on our website, uncf.org, where you can go and see what we're doing and how you can get involved. So we're always looking for volunteers. We're always looking for folks who are willing to go into communities and help us engage in that work. We're always looking for funders. No matter if it's $1 and it'll help a scholar, or if it's $100 million. And so we are blessed to have some funders like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Yeah.
Robert F. Smith, who's an African-American billionaire.
Okay,
Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Google, Wells Fargo, Target, to invest in our communities. But we really count on, us. It's up to us. And the conversation of is HBCUs relevant? It's the talk of the town, and they are relevant because they are pumping out a lot of our black doctors, black dentists, black veterinarians, teachers. And so it's really pouring into our own community so we can get back and pull ourselves up.
Indeed.
Not depend on the government.
The government, yeah. If there is one regret in life, for me, it would be not going to an HBCU. Coming up, my grandmother, my great aunt, my mom, and like they all wanted me to go to Morehouse, and I was just stuck on. I am not going to an all boys college. Like, and they're like, well, Spelman's right across the street. I don't care. I'm not going. And then so I ended up going to the University of Cincinnati, and then I was in the choir there. And on spring break, we would go on 2 tours. We'd go on a Florida tour and a Texas tour. And our last stop on both tours was always Atlanta. And so my first time going to the A, and it was something about that city, just that energy. Like I just felt black excellence and black power. Like when I got there, and just seeing how they get down, and I was like, man, why didn't I come? And then the other part of me was like, would you have gotten some work done after you just saying all of that? You just been here just 1-2 days and you've been partying it up. Would it had sucked you in? But no. But you get a different teaching from an HBCU. Not only do you get the educational aspect of it, but personal and just how to conduct yourself. Like they put more into you than you even thought you had, or even sometimes more than your parents. And that is what was like, I wish I would have went.
So when you say, like, how can we support HBCUs, I think that's the number one thing that we can do.
There you go.
Encourage students to go
attend.
to HBCUs. Because I think a lot of the people that I know who haven't gone to HBCUs are like, man, I wish I would have went. And so encouraging that at an early age, because that's important. I think the narrative about HBCUs is often like they're less than, but they're not. They're greater than many other institutions.
Come on now,
we have
Joakina.
to shift that narrative.
Yeah, indeed. And shows like the Quad help, shed a light on the culture that it is. Not to say that the things that happen on the Quad happens at, HBCUs. I mean, it is a show, but, you get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Shows like A Different World and even shows like Grownish, even though Grownish isn't at an HBCU, but just, black kids, that college life, I can appreciate things like that. You all have a couple of initiatives that are coming up with the United Negro College Fund. Can you talk about those?
All right. So we just wrapped up Mass Mayor's Ball in Atlanta.
Okay.
We had one in D.C. A few months, actually a couple of weeks before. So that's something that happens around the country. In all of our major regions. It's a major fundraiser for a lot of our regional offices, and so that money goes back into pouring into scholarships for the kids. What else is that? What month is this? March?
I know.
This is March.
We're actually right now in the close of our fiscal year. So what that means for us is all the scholarship money that we have left over, we're like pushing these things out. And so, sometimes I'm in the office and then there's scholarships that have like a few applicants. And so really getting people to apply. So right now we call it our March Madness. Is when we are really pushing out our scholarship dollars because come April 1st, we start from zero and we build
building back up
to push it back out.
Got you.
But we always have events going on throughout the country. Our CEO was just in, I think it was Atlanta. It was somewhere else too. Charlotte. Joakina and I have been on the go the last couple of weeks, so it's like we catching things in between. But we always have things happening. Our website is our major hub for you to understand what we do, how we do, why we do it.
And please give the website so they can, because if y'all still got money, I'm sure some parents out there boy, you better go log on and try to get this money for me.
So www.uncf.org. You can create a profile, go to the scholarships tab, create a profile. We'll get you in the loop, and you'll be updated when scholarships come out. You may even receive one just because you attend a certain institution or a certain city.
Indeed.
So we always got folks that are sending us money. We're always we're in the business of giving out money.
Yes.
That's what we want to do.
Yeah. Even if you're not at a HBCU, this for the students out there, even if you're not at a HBCU, I encourage you to apply because they do have scholarships that are for students not at HBCUs as well. So apply. And sometimes, like Kelvin said, when we have extra money, sometimes we give it to students who aren't at HBCUs because we need to get those scholarships out there. So.
Look at God.
STEM, if you're in STEM, we're becoming really major in STEM.
Yeah, that's huge. That's been the push for quite some time.
We actually bring our students to Silicon Valley. They interact with Google or Facebook, or Pandora, all the companies that we use on a daily basis.
That's the future.
Now we're trying to get them hired in those companies as
well. And as corny as it may sound, I think with Black Panther and young girls and boys seeing how Shuri created, all of that technology is from this young girl. Like I think that's going to have play a big part in the inspiration of getting these kids to be involved in STEM and just in technology, just period, just the whole science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So man, you guys are doing some great stuff. I appreciate you coming on the program.
Thanks for having us.
And then hopefully maybe we can do like a phoner like before you guys come next year for alternative spring break to get our locals more involved and things like that. So Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kelvin Harris, the Director of Leadership Development Programs, and Joakina Stone, the Relations Manager with the United Negro College Fund, Gates Millennium Scholars. I appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
And thank you for listening to Access Houston.
We'll be back with more Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.